How would you describe, I guess, the response to last week?
It's probably the minimum we wanted to tonight. Like, we obviously didn't win, and the score blew out, but we won the inside 50s. We were brave with the footy to a point where we got hurt on the turnover, but probably a little bit more of the identity we're trying to chase without being anywhere near satisfied. But our senior players stood up and played as well as they could. It's been a heavy week for the club, so I thought the intent was there, but we weren't good enough, and we fell down in the front half. So the Barras movement lasted 3 goals, and then we had to pull that. But we've got to keep looking at those things whilst we don't have our full complement.
Effort, defensive pressure, those sort of things. What was your expectation?
Well, I mean, the Bombers they're a tough side to play, but uncontested marks are a really big part of their game. Not the whole part, but it's a strong part of their game, and trying to deny them some of those marks was a challenge. But I thought first 3 quarters we did a reasonable job, and we couldn't stop it in the last. So yeah, I think most of the plays that we conceded probably come off our poor turnovers and just fundamentals, which we can work on that, because if you bring effort and a bit of method around it, then you can work on those things.
You mentioned you started Barras forward. You lined up different, you played one-on-one all the time different, and you tried a lot of things that were different in general. Were you trying to be different tonight to give them a different...
No, I suppose different players in different positions, but no, we sort of doubled down on what we're trying to do. So it's been hard to play in a way that we've been training in the off-season and pre-season and the first 4 or 5 rounds. So we wanted to get back to that. So that's, if you call that different, probably tells you the last 3 or 4 weeks that's been different.
What's going on tonight as captain? What do you make of it?
Yeah, I think it's been a great, I mean, out of all the carnage we're dealing with at the moment, the leaders are really standing up for the club, and that's not just the captaincy, but Duggan and Barras and Allen, Sheed coming back, Shannon coming back tonight. I think they're doing everything they can to support the players and the club. And yeah, it was a good step forward for Aussie tonight to get that experience and play well. We probably looked for him too much in the end, and some of our entries weren't great.
Sheed in a lot of pain in that second.
He's just got a knock on his leg, I think, so I don't think he's too bad.
Earlier tonight, he's played no football. Put him in the midfield straight back. Gus was pretty good tonight.
Yeah, he played forward. He played on ball and a bit of back, and he had a few, questionable kicks. But overall, it was good to have him back. We gave him an extra week or so to get back, so we didn't have to manage him as much as we probably would in the past. So he looked like he covered the ground a little bit better than the last few times we brought him back. And he got through. So that's a positive, and he'll only get better. And it just shows you, when you get players like that back, you're going to look a bit different. So I don't think we get anyone back next week, but we get maybe Shuey, McGovern, and perhaps Darling in the week after, maybe. So, hopefully some of those guys will help us.
You're in the midfield, pretty more circumstance, or are you hoping that when players back, he'll push back to that half back?
He's a best and fairest winner, All-Australian midfielder. So I think playing him down back, he also was an All-Australian as well. I think we forget how good he is. So, he'll play wherever he needs to. On ball's probably his best spot. And the game's built for people like Yo at the moment and Shuey. So I know they're getting to the back end of their careers, but there's still some footy left there if we can get them right.
Can you sort of quantify a figure about what you reckon those blokes are worth?
Quantify a figure on what they're worth?
Yeah, each week. You look at the 116 last game.
Oh, from points?
Yeah.
No, I can't. I can't quantify.
How much it improves you?
Look, we're obviously it's tough going at the moment. So we've sort of got some players that aren't quite ready to play AFL who are playing, and that's a challenge for them. And we've got to be careful not to criticise them too much because they're still learning. But we need our senior players. Like we've said this a lot, but what we're trying to work through and rebuild, we need our best players available to work on that. So if we had those, 10 players that were missing last week, then the kids might look a bit better and we might get a bit more development at Waffle Eagles and it all connects. So whilst they're not playing, it's a challenge, but we haven't been anywhere near good enough in the last month in particular. And today was minimum, and we still lost by 50 odd points. So we're not high-fiving in the change rooms, but we need to stay resilient. So they're all part of that.
Adam, did getting those 3 players back give you the confidence to swing Barras forward? I know you've spoken before about you haven't had troops to do it. You haven't been able to move anyone anywhere. Getting them back, was that what was behind that move today?
We're a bit light on in our front half at the moment, so that's just reality. So. The criticism that Darling got a few weeks ago, we desperately need him in the side. So I hope everyone pulls up on that one. And trying Barras, he's begging to play forward at the moment. And he kicked 5 in the captain's run yesterday, so I was pretty keen to do it. But I think Essendon took, 4 or 5 contested marks in the first quarter. They jumped us a little bit. It felt like we needed him back. And as much as I still want to try it, I think we can do it at some stage, in particular when Gov comes back. So you watch his space, I suppose, but just 3 goals in a row, and it just felt like we needed to put him back. And we threw around young Bazzo unfairly. Once he played 5 or 6 games, and he was forward back, so that was a bit harsh on him today.
Do you feel like you had moments? I mean, there was Connor West miss, and they go down the other end, and Colin kicks 2 goals in 90 seconds. Do you feel like you're just missing those key moments?
Well, we haven't had any moments recently, so it's good to have moments that we missed, albeit, our set shots tonight probably cost us a little bit. I think going into at 3/4 time, the shots might have been pretty close, 1 or 2 down, and then the last quarter blew out a little bit. So, where at the moment, we've got to convert. We need to make the most of our opportunities. So getting shots in good spots is important as well. A few of them are pretty hard, but there's some gettable ones there. And Essendon had gettable ones as well, so let's not live in that land. But we realise we've got to convert.
We just had a chat to Brad Scott, and he was talking about the injuries that you guys have got at the moment, saying even the game's greatest coaches couldn't be doing much better. What's it like just hearing? Was
he saying I wasn't one of the game's greatest coaches? No, I don't know. It's just reality. And I know you guys you're up and about, especially the local paper, but it doesn't excuse some of the games we've played in recently. So I'm not going to cop that as an excuse, but we will look different if we had those players back, obviously, and we need the leadership to help support the younger players coming through. That's really obvious, and we're on a journey and a pathway which I keep telling everyone that is going to be hard. So as much as we're copping some criticism, it won't change my resolve or the club's resolve.
In terms of just hearing those words of support, it seems like there's some sort of brotherhood amongst coaches.
Maybe. I appreciate. I don't know what he said, but there's a little bit more understanding, I suppose, in the coaching fraternity of what we're dealing with at the moment. It's a challenging industry, and when you're at one game, it's it can get to you. But no, I'm holding up okay.
Have you found much support from other coaches? I mean, there's these guys out there like Ken Hinkley, Stuart Dew. Every time someone pops up, it's his job going first. There's a lot that goes on.
Yeah, it's all part of it. That's part of the job. I don't think there isn't a WhatsApp group for all the coaches that gives a bit of love, but I think there's respect for all of us. It's a tough gig, but we sign up for it. It's not like we're made to do this job. So let's just pull back on the love in a little bit, and we just got to deal with it. So it's not phasing me too much, to be honest. But I do appreciate the support from our fans and our members, and obviously coaches. If they say those things, it's appreciated.
What about the players? Adam, you mentioned it was a heavy week for the club. What did you observe in them about their resolve to bounce back?
They're really keen to play at their best. So they understand it was unacceptable last week, but we're all in it together. So we spoke pre-game about the belonging piece and how we're all connected, and we all need to get through this together. So that, as much as there's people trying to separate us, we're pretty tight as a club.
You brought 3 back tonight, 3 experienced players back tonight. You mentioned 3 or 4 more that could come back over the next few weeks. When you bring 3 or 4 in at anyone, is it difficult to manage their playing time and manage how you use them?
Yeah. Well, that's the challenge we've had the last 2 years, 2.5 years, is we've got lots of players coming back from injury, and how you manage that with their fitness management. The game's got harder. and our guys have got older. So how do we do all that is, it's a challenge, but it is what it is. I'm not overthinking it. We'll get them back, and hopefully they'll gel in the next month, and we can win some games of footy in the back half of the year and get some development into some of these kids.
You got some decisions to make this week over players lighting off for the season or not, with mid-season coming up, or have you already made those decisions?
The mid-season draft, Jermaine Jones goes in for surgery on Monday, so we'll see how he comes out of that, and that's whether we get the second pick or not. So we'll work on how he pulls up. Outside of him, I don't think anyone else we've ruled out for the year, because you've got to understand these guys who've got long-term injuries, they don't want to be written off just yet. You know, some of our guys, 17, 18, around 17, 18, we're looking to get them back, and I think it's important they keep chasing that and not right off the year. So we'll make a decision on JJ on Tuesday.